What is up, you? Back again with another video. Today's video, man, we're back at it again with another episode of Sexy MW3 slash 2 builds. I don't know how many videos of this series is going to be, because there's obviously only so many guns in the game. But I'm going to be messing a lot with the guns in the game, because I haven't really been enjoying actually playing. I've been really just in the mood to do weapon modding. I don't know why. I don't know if you ever had that happen before, where you have like played a game, it has like another part of the game, like a customization part, and then like you get like an urge to just want to mess around there for like literally hours and hours and hours and hours. But unfortunately, I am in that state right now for this game where I just kind of want to sit in the main lobby and kind of just build guns and kind of mess with different attachments, maybe fuck with my builds a little bit to see if I can make them a little better, maybe a little worse to see how the outcome is. And here is how that's gone. So I don't remember all the guns I did last episode, but we did a bunch of guns. And I've almost had every gun in the game now with a good build. There's a couple I skipped because I'm looking forward to doing those later on. So for this episode, we're going to be focusing on the battle rifles that I did and also some of the ARs that we did. And then we'll maybe do some of the other guns in the future videos. So without further ado, let's get into the first one, which is going to be the SVA, which I know I didn't do last video. And this is the build I came up with, man. Again, remember when I'm making these builds, these sexy builds is what I'm calling them, are also going to be posted on my Discord. Same with my main builds as well as my in real life builds. So I'm also doing some stuff doing recreations of real life guns. So like recreating a real M4 and what SEAL team operatives would actually have on their M4s. But it takes a lot of research because I have to make sure I'm 100% accurate. But with that being said, I think sexy builds is just makes it a little more interesting. I know there's probably a better name for it out there, but I think I don't think that's necessarily a bad name. Um, but yeah, if you guys want to see these builds and you guys want to watch the videos, like maybe you're watching the videos, but you're like, oh, Elias, I didn't catch the build or something. There is images of these builds over there in Discord. Not all of them, but as I make them, I'm posting them. I think majority of the ones I've made last night and the night before both are all on the Discord. So let's get into the AK build. Now, this AK build, I didn't know what to do with this AK, man, because this AK is so unrealistic looking. This is actually one of the ugliest AKs I think I've ever seen in a video game, ever, to be quite honest with you, bro. It's just not a good looking gun. So, I tried to doctor it the best I could. Also, if you hear me adjusting the headset, I did accidentally break the headset yesterday, so it's W me, bro. But yeah, so I wanted to do something cool with the AK, and I wanted to somehow make it look good. So I added a suppressor, an optic, and I put on the foldable 74U stock. So that skelly stock you're seeing is usually on a 74U. There's actually two different types of 74U stocks that are really common, which is a skelly stock, which is like the solid steel that you can see here that has the opening. Then there's another one, which I don't believe is in the game. At least I don't remember seeing it. But basically, it's like the skelly, but instead of being side folding, it under folds, so the stock is basically flipped. And so the opening's in the center, and the metal pieces are on the sides, right? And it goes under the magazine. So those two are the really common 74U builds. And obviously you have the AK-101 slash 74 stock here. And then they don't actually have a AK-47 stock. So unfortunately you can't put that on it. But this is what I'm running. I'm running the singular standard magazine. I didn't run no crazy mag. You could theoretically put on the 45er, and it would probably make it look a little better. But I think it looks good with the regular 30 rounder, just because it's clear too. I think it's really sick. But this is the AK, man. And we're going to the next one. The next gun we're going to be showcasing here is going to be the let's see. I don't know if I showed the M4 in last. I think I did show the M4 last episode, if I remember correctly. I did. Let's see, the next gun, Kastov 7.62. I did a bunch of the AKs. Actually, I think I did all the AKs. So this is the 7.62 AK. So this is supposed to be, from what I understand, supposed to be the AK-47. But I decided to turn it into the AK-101. And this is actually a really close build to what I'm running currently in real life for my airsoft gun. If you guys don't know, I'm running an AK-101 for airsoft. The only difference is obviously in real life I don't have the laser sight, the muzzle, or the suppressor. I'm sorry, the underbarrel, the suppressor, and the laser sight. But this is kind of what I want to build in IRL. This is kind of the build I have in mind, maybe an optic. But this is mostly what I want to build. So this is kind of a one-for-one of my go-to airsoft AK build. Now, for this one, it was really easy to build because all you need to do is put the standard 343 barrel on it, and basically it just gives you the 101 handguard. So most AK-47s are going to have this style of handguard. It's the 406 millimeter barrel. This is your AK-47 barrel. Then you have your AK-12-ish barrel right here for the 406 meter, or the Sakin is kind of similar to an AK-12 barrel as well. Then you have your RPK. You have the Castavia 343 barrel. Now this one's going to be kind of similar to also the 74, so the AK-74, which is a 545 version of the AK. So you kind of interchange depending on that as well. But otherwise, I put on the standard suppressor. So if you're looking for an AK Pacific suppressor, so suppressors like, say, this VT7 are actually not, or even this one, for example, the Mod 1 of Sonic, these are actually NATO suppressors, so these wouldn't actually be a common suppressor on most AKs. And most of these builds I was going off of visually speaking, and I think on AKs, the actual Soviet-style suppressors look way better than the NATO ones. The NATOs look good on certain guns that are designed primarily around the NATO style. And so I picked the Monolithic because the Monolithic's the only Soviet-style AK suppressor that you'll see commonly throughout Russian AKs, right? DayZ has a big problem because DayZ's suppressors is actually this one right here, the Sonic. This is actually the AK, or this is very similar at least to the AK suppressor that the AK is using in DayZ, but it's not that common. It's mostly this style, right? These some people like to call them dildo shaped, but I mean, you can call them whatever. This is basically the style, though. It's kind of like a tighter cylinder. But that's the suppressor I'm running. And then I'm running a little small commando grip. Because especially these AKs like this, you're not going to see a whole lot of big hand grips. I just think the commando looks better. It just gives a nice shade to it. And then obviously we have the camo, which is just a nice solid mixture camo that's not too vibrant. So that's that AK. Moving on to the Chimera. Yeah, I made the Honey Badger. So this one I didn't necessarily make I didn't make like a sexy build for it. I made it more of a throwback build. So this is the closest build you can get to the real Honey Badger from Call of Duty Ghost. We had a Honey Badger in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare as well, for people that didn't know about that. But that was more just a variant for the flatline, so it really wasn't a true one-for-one Honey Badger. The Chimera tries to be the one-for-one Honey Badger. The only problem with the Chimera in this game, and this is a problem with last year's Chimera as well, which is the same one. I expected there to be actually more attachments for it, hopefully, but you can't. So the problem with this one is its suppressed barrel is too short for what the Call of Duty Ghost version was. Call of Duty Ghost had a longer barrel, I think about 3 inches bigger, maybe, give or take. So this barrel actually right here is actually closer to the original Honey Badger barrel. The problem is they don't have this configuration in the suppressed. So if you want to have this integrated suppressor, which is what this Honey Badger had, so if I put this barrel on right and then I put a suppressor on, it doesn't look right. So if you're trying to build the Honey Badger for one scale, the best you're getting is what I have currently. And obviously, if you guys know Ghost, I put the Spectrum camo on because that was a super popular camo back in the day as well. And then I put the 45 rounder because I just think the 45 rounder looks better. But obviously, if you're going for a little better, you could just stick with the standardized 30 rounder. No, I think it's the 30 rounder. Let me double check. Yeah, 30 rounder mag. But that's the go-to as the build just completely disappears. I love this game. Truly, it's truly great. I don't know what's happening, see if we. There we go. So yeah, so that's what it looks like with a 30 rounder. So it looks a little better, but again, I just think if you're gonna go for the honey badger, imagine give yourself the extra 15 rounds. I don't think it's that much of a difference. And then obviously the stock, I think it's just a standard stock. The laser, and then I put a little underbarrel. The underbarrel's there because I think it looks good too, but is also there because the real honey badger from Ghost, if I remember correctly, did also have a standard foregrip at the front. But yeah, that's the honey badger, man. I think it's really dope. It came out really well. It's not the best build when you actually use it. It's got pretty high recoil and not the best damage output, but for the most part, it's pretty damn good. Let's move on to the next gun. So the next big gun we have should be the M16. I don't think I put this in the last episode, but I basically made the COD 4 M16. Well, sort of. There's some limitations I had. This isn't the barrel length that I originally wanted. And I was going to do the M16 barrel with a foregrip or something to kind of give that OG M4 style look. But unfortunately, the M16 barrel is attached to the 40 mic. So if I take the mic off, I lose the M16 barrel, which makes no fucking sense because logic, but it is what it is. This is the closest you can get to an OG M16 style. There is some barrels that you could choose from if you wanted to. You could put like an M4 or an AR-15 barrel in it. But overall, this is the best you're going to get. I mean, you could do, if you're really trying to go for the old school M4 look, you can swap on this barrel with the 40 mic, and then you can swap out this grip and put on the, if I can get to it before it's too late, there we go. You put on this grip, and this is sort of like, or even here, you can put this on, and then put on the standard M4, and here you have an M4, pretty much, from COD 4. So that's pretty cool, but again, not exactly similar, because again, there's limitations on the way the gun's shaped. You could probably get it closer with the actual M4, and that's probably something I'm going to work on soon to see if I can mimic the original COD 4 M4 in the game. But that M4 is kind of tricky just because it's not the same platform visually as this is, especially since this M16 actually has the M16 handguard. So that is a big deal because it's for the M4. So that's unfortunate. But if you are running this, if you want to run this M16 build, here it is again for you guys. It's pretty cool. Not the best M16 build in the world, but you do have a 40 mic. So if you really wanted to fuck some people up on Rust or something, you have a 40 mic as well. On to the next gun, we have the Draco, or Draco. I think I spelt it wrong, but it's okay. So we got the Draco here. So this Draco, I got this idea from watching some like Mexican cartel-esque movies, and I've always wanted to recreate a Draco. Now you could throw on the gold for a Goldie Draco, but I don't think the gold looks all that well, to be quite honest with you. It just doesn't, like, if it was only the metal, I would be a bigger fan. But here's what the Draco looks like. I had the brown camo on it before, but pretty much same thing. Suppressor, 45 rounder. You could do a smaller mag or the standardized mag if you wanted to, but I think the 45 looks really good. And then most Dracos, as most people think, you would assume from movies, has no stock because they're always one-handing it. Which, by the way, one-handing an AK-74U is you're not hitting anything, let's put it lightly. But if you wanted to, if you want to run it like the gangsters do, the cartel do, you can take the stock off and you have a Draco. And if you want to make the gun even smaller and even more like a Draco, you can run without the suppressor. and even a micro barrel. I think there's a micro barrel in here somewhere. Yeah, right here. And making even a smaller barrel, right? So that's always an option as well. And then the next gun we have is a 545 AK, which I made into, I think I just left it, like I made it like into a regular AK. I didn't do any specific configuration for it. I did a little modernized barrel this time around. I didn't do the, actually no, I think I did do the other barrel, did I? No, because this one would be the other, this would be a more modernized barrel. So this is the other one that we used on the 101 version. But otherwise, same thing. But unfortunately, again, they do not have the stock. Um, oh, this one does actually have the stock. So this is the stock I was talking about earlier, the older underfolding one. So it's basically the same thing as the other, the Skelly stock, except it's flipped. So that underfolds instead of side folding. That's the only difference. But unfortunately, as many people know, you can't actually fold them or unfold them in the game, so it's kind of hard to showcase that. But use your imagination. You know what I'm saying? Use your imagination. But that's pretty much what this is. It's kind of a regular AK, nothing special. But yeah, that's that build. Now we're moving on to the battle rifles. Now battle rifles, I think I did some. I don't know if I did do some of this. So the battle rifles, I made the Sidewinder into a ACR heavy combination. So pretty cool build. Honestly, came out really good looking. Like it looks like an ACR, like a modernized ACR, which is super sick. But obviously, not the most useful weapon, and not the most useful weapon. That's for sure. On to the next gun, we also did the MTZ. Now, the MTZ, I wanted to kind of make like a heavier looking MTZ 556, which is the 805 Bren from COD Ghost. So this is kind of like the one from COD Ghost. It's a little heavier. This one's still this one's rocking the Mini Attack 40 Riser optic. So this is one of the first guns that I started messing with the other optics. As normally I'll stick to like the standard optic, like maybe an ACOG, a red dot, maybe a hybrid scope. But this is the first like adjusted red dot that I've used. And you'll see more of these as we go on because I start to get really interesting with interesting choices with some of them. But that's the MTZ. We also did the SO14 we made into the M14. So I kind of wanted to do like a Desert Storm type of style M14. So it has the hybrid scope, and it has that all wooden style. So if you actually take it over here, get rid of the camo, it's actually a solid wood frame, which I think is really, really sick. So if you could take off the scope and you take off the underbarrel, you would actually have an M14 from Vietnam, which is really, really cool. I always like when they have these options to make the old school look. That was the M14. Kind of going through these a little quicker now. Did I make this one? I did not make one for that. I made one for the FAL. So I made the FAL. I think this was showcased in yesterday's video. I think these are the same. Yeah, I think they're the same. Yeah, by the way, if anyone's noticed, I don't know if you let me know down below if you guys have any issues. My game, like, won't let me delete builds, and it keeps duplicating all my builds. So now most guns, I have like 12 different custom builds, which is really frustrating. But that's besides the point. I hope they fix that in the future. But anyway, this is the FAL. I don't remember if I did this in the last episode or not, but this is what I came up with the FAL. If not, I wanted to go for that more old school style, that more of that like Black Ops 1, 2, I think it was. That had the FAL mission where you use the FAL. So I'm going to go kind of for that, but I also wanted to keep it a little modernized. I actually am a huge fan of the FAL in real life. I think it's a really cool weapon. It's not the best weapon. I've heard it has lots of issues. It likes to jam a lot, I've heard. But, you know, it is what it is. This is the FAL. Pretty cool gun overall. So that's all the battle rifles. I feel like I kind of ran through, and I'm only at 20 minutes, so we're going to do a couple more. Not too many more. We're going to run through, I think I did the MP7, I remember that. So let's do the MP7 real quick. So the MP7, I kind of wanted to go for a Special Ops MP7. So this is pretty similar to an Special Forces MP7. Has that more M4 style stock with a little suppressor with an extended barrel. Pretty solid. It has a little baby grip just to give your hand more more leverage. But otherwise, that's pretty much it, man. I didn't really create anything else. I did create a Glock. I guess I can show you guys a Glock as well. I went for the classic Call of Duty stealth mission Glock, and I got pretty damn close actually to what you would see a lot of times in like things like John Wick. This is actually a very, 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 very similar John Wick build. I've seen builds similar to this in John Wick, especially with that futuristic looking barrel, that XRK barrel. That's a more modernized barrel because most Glocks would run this standard slide, right? So it's not the same. It's very modernized. And this is more of a little bit more modernized, but I don't know. I think this is more modernized, especially with the openings. But anyway, um, I put the 18 round mag on it because I think the 30 and the 40 just are too long. It looks like a damn gangster on YouTube trying to showcase his gun type of thing. So there it is, man. That's all the builds I made so far. I think I made some more, but I don't want to keep you guys forever. If you guys have ideas for guns I should work on or build in the future, let them down below, man. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe, all that good stuff, man. I have tons of content coming, so stay tuned for that. Without further ado, man, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.